Even when you don't have a dog in the hunt, sometimes you still have to go on the hunt. This Barry Phillips, a 10-minute tour, day 3 of Lecha. Let's go to Bereshit, or Genesis chapter 14. And in this chapter, it describes how that there is warfare in the Middle East. And it says here in verse 8 and 9, the sovereign of Sodom, the sovereign of Amorah, the sovereign of Admah, the sovereign of Seboim, the sovereign of Bela, that is Soar, went out and joined together in battle against in the valley of Sidon against Kedorlaomer, sovereign of Elam, Tidal, sovereign of Goim, Amraphel, sovereign of Shinar, and Arioch, sovereign of Elasar, 4 sovereigns against 5. And it says here that the sovereigns of Sodom and Amorah and their compatriots, they lost the battle. And then it says in verse 12, they took Lot, Avram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and left. Well, they come and inform Avram and said, your nephew's been taken. He arms his men, they go. And it says in verse 15, he and his servants divided against them by night, struck them, pursued them as far as Hobah, which is on the left of Damascus, brought back all the goods, also brought back his brother Lot and his goods, as well as the women and the people. Now, there's a lot going on in this particular chapter. For those, and I know that there are those who are not of the United States, you're in various other countries that watch. I used the phrase in the opening, I don't have a dog, or if you don't have a dog in the hunt. May sound a little strange to you for those who are not familiar with the phrasing. It's especially popular at times in the southern part of the United States. Basically, if it suggests this is something I don't have any stake in. There's no need for my involvement in this. My dog is not involved in this hunt. I don't need to be there. So Avram could have just said, has nothing to do with me. Matter of fact, when the war was going on, it's in his arena, but he's not choosing sides. When we look at these kings here, there's really no definition of good guys versus bad guys here. This is kings going to war as they often did historically. And it's 4 kings against 5, and it doesn't turn out well for the kings of the cities of the plain. As they have lost everything, then they take Lot, who was a citizen, unfortunately, of Sodom at this point. Now, what about Lot? Lot in the previous chapter had started out just pitching his tent in the direction of Sodom. Somewhere in this process, the way it works in my mind, as strange as my mind can be at times, is that Sister Lot, Lot's wife, Mrs. Lot, says, Lot, baby, I'm tired of living in a tent, and I'm tired of all of these flocks and herds and smelling animals. Why don't we sell out everything that we have to those who actually want these animals, take the money, go into the city, buy a nice apartment, townhouse in the city, and I can shop in the local stores, and we can actually be somebody and have something, and I don't want to live in a tent anymore. However that worked, Lot's in the city, and he gets captured as a prisoner of war along with the other citizens of the city. Avram could have said, you know what, Lot made his bed, just let him lay in it. He had his opportunity to act in some humility. He could have chosen a different path. That's what he wanted. That's what he got. I'm sorry for him, but I'm done. People will push you to the limit. They will test you. They will try you. They will infuriate you. They will fail to listen to your solid and sound advice and encouragement and counsel, stick their proverbial fingers in their ears and hum while you try to help them. But who is the first person they will cry out to when it all falls apart? You. And the temptation is, I don't have a dog in your hunt, son. You'll just have to figure it out. And there are times that people do need to learn their own hard lesson, and bailing everyone out of every situation is at times enabling them. We all understand this. Avram here will not let Lot go into captivity. He and 318 of his men, his compatriots among the Amorites that he's dwelling with, they run and they rescue. Now, I find something very interesting here. The aftermath of this is involving two significant people. One, very significant, is Melchizedek, Melchizedek, however you want to pronounce that, a two-part title, Melech, king, Tzedek, righteousness, one of exalted righteousness. He is the king of righteousness. It says he is the sovereign of Shalem, which is to be later known as Jerusalem. He is a priest of the Most High. He is a very significant individual. At the same time, the sovereign of Sodom shows up and he's bargaining. Now, let's back up here for a minute. This is a king that was defeated. He lost the warfare. He escaped, evidently, by the skin of his teeth. How he got free from the other kings that should have captured him, we're not told. But this is one who lost. And he comes in and addresses Avram, who is the only reason, it would seem, that he's still alive, and says, keep the goods and all of the stuff, but I want the people. How does he get to bargain for anything? He is a defeated king. He is now king only in theory. And yet he is boldly standing and saying, I want the people. Avram wisely says, I don't want anything from you. Take it all. Take the people, take the stuff. Those that have fought, the men that fought with me, let them take a portion. Let them have some things. But I won't take a shoestring from you, because I won't allow you to say you made me rich. But from Melchizedek, he receives the blessing of bread and wine, and the blessing of this man who says, Blessed be Avram of the Most High El, possessor of the heavens and earth, and blessed be the Most High El, who has delivered your enemies into your hand. Avram then turns around and pays tithes to this man, gives him 1/10 of everything. Notice that the bread and the cup is not offered to the king of Sodom. He doesn't qualify. Where I'm going with all of this is this. Paying attention to what you get dragged into at times. Paying attention to where compassion puts you, and where the leading of the Ruach, even against your own desires, will press you into situations. No, you get involved. You help here. Father, I've already, do it again. And so we extend ourselves. When all of that is going on, be careful who you align yourself with. There will be those that will say, hey, he's a rescuer. There's somebody that has some means, and they'll come to get what they can get. Those are not the ones to align with. There's the righteous involved. Righteous people will show up. They will assist. That's where you put your alignment with, your partnership with. In the middle of all the fightings going on, political and otherwise, choose carefully who's on your side and whose side you're on. And I'll see you again tomorrow. To then, shalom.